My name is Marcia Robinson, and we are recording an oral history with Christine Parker, as part of the Sweet MUMories Oral History Project to mark the 50th anniversary of the Miami University Middletown, Ohio campus. This interview is taking place on August 26, 2016 at Johnston Hall. Professor Parker, do I have your consent to proceed with this interview?
Yes, ma'am.
So, how did you come to be an educator?
This story of my grandmother, who was, of course, in the one-room building, and she was very strict. She was very short, and of course, there were very tired, big guys in there. And at one day, she opened the desk, and just without a word, she just picked out a snake right behind the snake's nose and said, "I guess we will have nature now." And the whole girl laughed. So that, and you know, it's like, okay, if it's that much fun, that's for me. But there were other people in my family that were teachers.
And how did you come to teach at Miami Middletown?
Well, I had trouble thinking about that, but there were some people. Of course, when I was teaching in the schools, I knew a lot of people in music, and when it was time for me to go to college, if I would put it that way, they sent me off to Kent, where I was there first, and wonderful professors there. I got a lot of opportunities there, and then from there I ended with another person to come here. And I didn't even say, okay, wherever. I don't know where to go. Because I've never been clear about anything. It's a music thing, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, that's how I got here.
All right. And to clarify, you were one of the first instructors hired to teach here at the college?
Yes. The second year, the door here opened that I came in.
Second year.
And at that time, at that era, the Hopis, whatever. I'm not saying it correctly. Hippies, that's right. And it was very relaxed. They had lots and lots of fun between the students and the semesters and the people above that. And one of the things I remember clearly, one of my friends here, we would go lolling down the gas on the grass.
Okay.
Yes, and over and over and over, and that's of course on Saturday.
Okay. Music is your passion?
Yes.
What do you love about music?
It keeps me alive. And in fact, particularly we were on the way here, we were talking about a change in one of the things on the radio. They had been down to the point that the music that they were putting on, where I've heard it over and over and over, and then all of a sudden, one night, 7 o'clock, whoa, because they had different computer to work with it, and brand new things, and I just thought, oh, and I just relaxed because it made the whole difference. And I have had a lot of trouble in the past, and as soon as that came up, oh, I can breathe.
So that passion.
But that's not the only thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the other thing, besides music, teaching, but it's not teaching it to others necessarily, but the teachers that who teachers. And many times it's the children that teach me things. Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, for one example, for example, how important it is for kids to be outside. In my neighborhood, there were kids, and I had gardens, of course, very important to me. And one year there were several spiders in the garden, and oh, these kids were just like, oh, and they would get the bugs that he could find and throw them in there, so that if they could see the little thing, that little other thing, the spider, thank you, would get a bite. and the delight in it. And they'd come running, And that's another thing that is very, very sad for me as being this age, because instead now I've seen kids walking with their do-do-do, talking to themselves or to somebody else, and they don't even see what they're around them. And so I continue to do whenever I can, and wherever and whenever, get kids out there and get that beautiful lunch things.
Were you ever able to expand the world in that way for any of your students here at MUM?
One time particularly, after one of the music here, I said, okay, we're stopping early because I want you to walk all the way around that building and look at this beauty, that kind of thing. But not so much in the school, in the campus here. But that came later, or with it, because I was with people. Well, and actually we got some people from here would help us on Bull's Run, and they would come and help with taking work for the trees, or sometimes being there with me and others when the children from other schools come to see what they could do. And
okay. So if we're sitting here in Bunny Hollow,
yes,
with all of the beautiful nature,
yes,
and our birds,
yes,
and the music,
yes,
have you ever taught any students to sing?
Sing?
Like a bird did it?
Well, that's very interesting, because one of the things I said is I like to learn stuff. And last year, maybe, I can't remember, recently, I came here in the same room that I was there for 30 years or so, and it was about the professor. It was called Worlds of the World of Music. Mm-hmm. Wow. Speaking of birds, the question in what that book is about, what is music? Okay. And in the first very early in the book, really caught my eye because there was a story of a place way out in the ocean, a tiny group, just a tiny group, who had only, of course, their only way to speak or to connect with each other. And their ama would be this one particular bird. And that was what they prayed for, because they felt that when someone in the group died, they then became that bird, because it was a particular sound, kind of thing. And that was very, very, well, of course, birds are sing.
Right.
And what it was interesting, because it was like, that's weird, but it's wonderful, wonderful.
So now, with your love of music and nature, and you said that many of your students were hippies.
Yes.
What kind of music lessons did you give to the hippies back in the 60s?
Oh, they toured me to what?
Trained.
No. Well, yes, that's right. They were in terms of going up in the trees and so forth, but also the music was different, of course, with from them, because I was pretty much classic, in that reads, because I have a lot of experience in that with children and adults and all around the neighborhood here in Beer, every area. Well, tell me, where we talk? Mike Wright Spate
University.
Yes, and also in the what's the guy that was the music?
Dr. Combo Piano.
Yes.
Opera.
Who was
Over the opera.
and for the operas.
Okay.
And so in two places, one in Richmond and one in Middletown, and all of that. Now, but the interesting thing is that, well, you know what? I know this is not your question, but I want to come to you, my dear.
That's Eva.
If anyone asked me what the most amazing, delightful memory of the how many years I've been here was, that I was the amazing blessing to be the driver when Meyer on say it again.
Maya Angelou.
That's right. When she was here, and so I picked her up at the
Airport.
Yes, at the airport, and with her friend that was with her, and wow, just wow. And I gave her a tiny poem that I had met, and she said, "Well, speak it for me." So I'm driving. So, let's see. The way I said it, she didn't, no, let's see. Something about, she didn't know her beauty, the first words. And so I went through this. And she said, "Thank you so much. May I say it again?" And she'd make a question in that, like this. And then when she came here on the stage over there, she she spoke it again in my name. I mean, this is like, oh, what could be amazing than that, you know?
So being at MUM was also about access for faculty to be able to meet famous people.
Yes.
We usually hear only about the students who are starstruck. Do you have any other famous people that come to mind?
Not, well, I have had students that have been connected and, with me. One young man that we wrote together back for years, and then kind of adventures after gone on. But funny things, a coach, it's a small thing, but this young man, the coach has, this young man had trouble getting all his, her things up, you know. So he wanted this young man to be in the music. So I, sure, come on, bring him on. We need guys, you know. And I said, okay, well, let's sing for me. Okay, it goes like this. I said, okay, we'll fix that. And he could not do a line at all. But by the end of that era, he was doing solos, you know, and it is amazing.
So you gave this athlete access to his own singing voice.
Because I helped him learn how to sing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's my job, honey.
Did you have any students who had learning challenges?
Well, not so much, but there was another student that taught me to teach. And she was probably, okay, so she was in the choirs, and then she asked me to give her lessons by herself. I said, no, I don't do that. Why not? I don't know how to do that. Oh, yes, you do. No, I don't. No, I don't. And finally she said, okay, but don't expect anything from me, and I will not have to, you must not pay for me this. Well, the way that she taught me, any time I suggested she do this or that, you know, so if I said something and it came out, ooh, oh, okay, thank you very much, we'll do something else. You know, I mean, that sounds crazy, but I never thought that I could teach anybody else on this.
So the students adapted you in the classroom as you were trying to teach them.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You mentioned a choir just now. Can you talk to us about choirs here at Middletown?
Well, of course, on the, what's the guy again with the downstairs, in downtown, when the
Mr.
Midfrest.
Mr. Combo Piano.
Yes, and he, well, I worked with him in other places, but here, downtown, he brought
Operas.
opera there. Okay. Several, actually, and I was working there. Yes, you have more, she had some kids in that, in some of the pieces I were working on.
So one of the things that has come across in our stories is that the community created the need for the campus, but the campus returns to the community. And it sounds like you gave more people a place to sing and to find their voices. What ages were some of those people?
tots. I got a story about that too. I'm sorry, I'm taking too long, but this, I was in Oxford, and I had tots, and I had learned in Hungary a way to teach children. Do, re, mi, fa, do, fa, di, da, do. And there are many, many wonderful people, okay. Amazing grace, da-dum, da-dum, many, many of kinds of things. So that's what we used here in the class, so that they could learn, so that tots could learn to read music before they see it on the paper. Okay. And that's been very, very exciting. And we had several things here in this place where other people to learn here how to do that, for other teachers, how to teach that kind of way.
All right, so different ways of teaching music to small children. You were involved in the Middletown Opera.
Yes.
And were you involved with the Middletown Symphony at all?
Yes. Yes, but not very much. I had to, there was something here, there was a, melody, not a melody, that light mix.
Symphony?
No. Well, yes, one time I was able to lead, because, and then there was a group there that they were dancing and so forth, and they really liked the way it worked.
Okay.
You directed the Miami Chorale. You directed the Miami Chorale.
The chorale?
That's right. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, how could I forget that? Yes, hello, I'm sorry.
So talk to us about the Miami Chorale.
Oh, fun. That's all I can say. It's wonderful. I mean, we did mostly classic, but a lot of it's on here.
You can look at your notes. We have time.
Okay, it's also oh gosh, let's see, what is it called? Also, never mind. Let's see. I've completely lost the
That's
question.
fine. So, in the Chaos newspaper, there's mention of student choirs,
From Wright State.
and I understand that there was a children's choir at Wright State University
Yes,
that you
that's
worked
right.
with.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, oh sure. Well, at that point, I has 7 days a week, because Saturdays with the kids, and also in
In Dayton?
school. No, it's not.
On Saturday.
On Sundays.
Okay.
What is it called?
Sunday school.
The Sunday school or the
No,
chorale?
no, from the leading the music in the church.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And with concerts there, yes, that's right.
Okay.
But let's see, where were we? I've lost this about.
Wright State.
The Wright State
Oh yes,
children's choir.
they wanted to have children there. I got there in the first part because I was suggest from Miami, one of the person in Wright State was going to be off for learning his stuff. So they wanted me for that theory. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into that. And so, and actually, I led one of the big things, you know, with the
The production?
yes, that's right, that's right.
Okay.
And then let's see, and then later they wanted kids. So, well, yeah, why not? And we started with 12 kids.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, we had a 100. And oh, they were wonderful. And of course, we used that method of having them. I mean, they never, once, I don't remember that we even showed them the music at all, you know, they just don't. And also, they could read the thing before he hit it on the piano, you know, because that's amazing guy in Hungary that came through on that, with that for all of us to know.
Okay. Are there any
I
stories
did, and
about...
did I say I was there for a month there, learning
Hungary.
there? Yeah, yeah.
Are there any other faculty that you'd like to remember? Any stories of working with maybe Mr. Theskin, or do you have any stories like that? And you can skip the question if you're not ready to answer that today.
Well, just that most of them are gone, but we very, 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 very close, very, very, very close. We cried for others. We laughed for others. We got totally wacko. All's without whoop, just up here.
Okay.
You know? And jokes and wonderful things. And one particular history guy, I can't. I think I could rename him. But I go to him frequently to talk history, because I was not good in history. All I did at music, but boy, I had to work crazy to make sure what I'm talking about, you know. And so I was in there often, and particularly with him, we talked about students and which students need to kick up and some things to get out, you know, that kind of thing, that's just not working here, and maybe she'd be somebody else.
So the faculty work together and work community around each student.
Absolutely. Total. They all, of course, now you have to remember there was only one building. And so it was very easy to know all of the kids by all the teachers, you know. And then as the bigger they got, we slid out a little bit, but we were also getting tired about things. So,
Is there anything else that you would like for us to remember about the early days of the campus?
well, I lived here. There was a cabin kind of place up on the hill. It was part of the park.
The caretaker's cabin?
Yes, that's right. That's where I lived. And I would get my mail by walking all the way to the street. And there was just a funny little thing about that I had cats. And the cats liked to walk up there with me. And on the way back one time, I hear, woo, 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 and oh my gosh. And the next thing I hear the cat right into the stream, and the owl just missed her.
Wow.
It was, you know, it was real world, you know. I mean, because nature was everywhere, you know.
Wow.
So,
It's a beautiful story. Well,
thank you.
I'd like to thank you for spending time with us today and sharing some of your memories with us. Do I have your permission to discontinue this recording?
Certainly, but I want to say it's a pleasure, and I thank you for your patience, both of you.